Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was the Prophesied Child of God movie. Before we start, please go support Silverlion 12k for writing that awesome fanfic. The story takes place before the birth of the cinnamon roll we all know and love, and this is the story of how the future lies in the hands of a child of prophecy, Izuku Midoriya. Later around the world, the first quirk-wielding family in another country have become persecuted and have fled to Japan, hearing that they would be accepted. How will the meeting of these two families that come together become a setup for the prophecy to come to pass? Chapter 1: The Prophecy. It was a regular day in Mustafa City when a newlywed couple had finished their doctor's appointment. It was revealed that the woman was with child. Inko. Hisashi, I can't believe it, we're going to be parents. Hisashi. I know, I can't believe it either, it's a miracle that will be growing inside of you. Inko. Shall we decide a name for the child now or at a later date? Hisashi. I say we come up with one after we discovered the gender of our child. Inko. Okay, that seems reasonable to me. Hisashi Midoriya. Inko Midoriya. As the young couple continued walking towards the station to get home, Inko continued to rub her belly, even though she barely discovered she's pregnant. Has made Hisashi laugh, but they heard a commotion on the streets. It was some sort of street teacher. He began to speak. Prophet. People of Mustafa City, I beseech you to hear he words that were given unto me by God. As the prophet spoke, he said things that made the people fear for the future. Prophet. For the era of peace is in danger, the world shall be engulfed in utter darkness, but fear not, there is hope to save the peace, and the answer is held by this woman. As the prophet pointed at Inko, she was shocked and stuttered, it wasn't processing in her head. Prophet. I have seen a vision of two young men who will become the most powerful duo in the hero world. As people began to leave with laughter, scoffing at the prophet throwing food and drinks at him, two people remained to help the man who was made as a joke. It was Inko and Hisashi who stayed and gave the man a hand. Then Inko asked if she could hear the vision. Prophet. As I said, two young men shall become the most powerful duo, and one of them is your son. I have also seen his quirk shall not manifest until his 14th birthday. Inko. Who is this other young man? Who will my son befriend in order to make him a powerful hero? Prophet. The other young man is a foreigner who shall arrive with his family here when he and your son are 5 years old. He hails from the land of warriors. Both Inko and Hisashi were confused about the foreign land which they are from, but will look into it when they get home, but for now they will be quiet and continue to listen. Hisashi. Will my son's quirk be powerful that it won't manifest until age 14? Prophet. Yes, so in order to prepare him when he is 5 years old, train his body in order for him to withstand the power. Inko. Can you tell us about this family of the foreigner? Prophet. Yes, they consist of a man and woman who will have 2 sons. The younger one shall befriend your son, and he is the one to make your son into the greatest hero. The bond between the two will seem like they are brothers. The eldest brother will care for the two, and it will be as if you gained 2 sons. Hisashi. So the foreign family will be kind. Prophet. Yes, they will appear near Dagaba Municipal Beach, and you will be there to welcome them, show them that here in a place where quirks are accepted. I've also seen a vision of you, sir. Hisashi. What will happen to me? Prophet. When your son is born you will be sent overseas by your job, but following the directions on this piece of paper, and you will avoid this situation. This was all given to me by God, who by his grace has revealed it unto you. This is all for now. Take what I've shared with you, and be cautious, for the era of peace is slowly fading away. As Inko and Hisashi departed from the prophet, they began to wonder if he was right, and so the walk home was quiet. They held hands tightly until they reached the apartment complex where they lived. As they opened the door and closed it, they broke silence. Inko. Do you really believe that the peace will slowly fade? Hisashi. Well, it's been too quiet, so I think villain are making underground moves, slowly advancing to make a big plan to kill a vast number of heroes. Inko. I want to do as the prophet said. We'll train Izuku and enroll him in self-defense class at the point where when his quirk manifests itself he'll be ready. Hisashi. I'll follow these instructions. Say to prevent my transfer overseas, I want to be near you and my son. Inko. Since we are both in agreement, I kinda want to look up the place the prophet had mentioned, the land of warriors. Hisashi. To be honest, I think I know where the foreign family will come from. Inko. Really? Where can you show me on a map? Hisashi. Here, the place with a red star on it. Guerrero translated in English as warrior. As Inko and Hisashi looked at this map, they began to wonder why the persecution in this land began. Inko broke the silence by asking a question. Inko. Since we were told the gender of our child by the prophet, shall we decide names for our son? Hisashi. How about Izuku? Inko. That sounds like a beautiful name. Then it's decided, Izuku Midoriya. As the young couple spent the rest of the day together, they were afraid, but had a sense of calm that would fade, since they knew their son was to be the one who will bring peace to the earth, along a trusted companion who will seem like family. It was about dinner time, and Hisashi still hadn't opened the instructions that will lead him away from overseas relocation, but he opened it and there was a checklist it read. 1. Make a presentation on how the uprising villain attacks are a danger to the future. 2. Keep your team in order, have nobody slack off when inspection time comes. 3. Befriend the boss. Hisashi works for a small section of the government officials, but even if one person screws up, everyone gets punished. Chapter 2 time skip. 4 years later. As the time flew, the Midoriya family had now become a family of 3. Izuku Midoriya had now become 4 years old. And Hisashi had decided to take him to meet an old friend of his. Hisashi. Izuku, would you come to the living room right now? Izuku. Yes daddy, is something wrong? Hisashi. Nothing is wrong, I'd like to know if you'd like to meet a pro hero. Izuku jumped for joy as he ran to grab his notebook, and as he returned to his father in the living room he asked. Izuku. Who are we going to see? Hisashi. We're going to meet the pro hero Gunhead, he's an old friend of mine. As Hisashi and Izuku left home to visit Gunhead at his dojo, the second they stepped through the door, Gunhead sees Hisashi and could help but hug his old friend, they were like brothers. He was also Hisashi's best man at the wedding. Gunhead. Hisashi, my old friend, how are you? Don't be afraid, give your brother a huge now. As Gunhead looked down at his friend's leg, he noticed a small child and began to wonder if he was babysitting for a relative. Gunhead. Hey bro, did you get stuck babysitting for a relative? Hisashi. First, I'd like to apologize for losing contact with you, a lot happened, and this is my son Izuku Midoriya. Gunhead. Your son? Hisashi. I saw a commercial for your gym and thought we should keep in touch again like old time's sake. Gunhead. Well, why would I say no to an old friend? So any specific reason why you brought your son? Hisashi. Well, I was wondering if you'd teach my son how to defend himself. I'd like you to teach him Gunhead martial arts. Gunhead. What's his quirk? Hisashi. His quirk hasn't developed yet, and I just want him to be ready to defend himself in situations where his quirk will be a disadvantage to him and he has something to fall back on. Gunhead. Always thinking ahead, you haven't changed, old friend. I will train your son and I'll make sure he will be trained. Hisashi. Hey Izuku, Uncle Gunhead will train you so you can start your dream to be a hero. Izuku's eyes lit up like the stars at night when he heard that his dad's friend will train him, so both the Midoriya boys have decided to train at the gym, and an hour passed and Izuku was tired, and their workout finished. Izuku fell asleep, and Hisashi picked up his son, and Gunhead escorted them to his office. Gunhead. Hisashi, is there any specific reason why you need your son trained at this young age? Hisashi. To be honest, I'll tell you everything. Brief explanation of the prophecy he was told by the prophet. Gunhead. I see, that's why you want Izuku to learn to defend himself, so you want his body ready for his quirk that will manifest at age 14. Hisashi. I know you might find all this crazy and you want to laugh, then laugh. Gunhead. I believe you. I didn't want to say this, but this prophet spoke truth. There has been a rise in crime, and villains will make their moves soon. Hisashi. I just hope Izuku will be ready to take on the responsibility of being a ray of hope. Gunhead. You also mentioned a family of foreigners, when will they arrive? Hisashi. In 1 year they will arrive, and the youngest son will help Izuku keep the peace. Gunhead. I'm on your side, if you need help I'll train both of you boys. Hisashi. Thank you my friend, but why would you believe me? Gunhead. My instincts tell me we are going to have to be ready for a big change that's to come. As Hisashi picked Izuku up and said bye to his friend, they headed home so that Hisashi could have Izuku bathed and ready for school tomorrow. They were going to visit the quirk doctor to see what quirk Izuku had. As Hisashi was walking home, he spotted the prophet and had a couple of questions regarding the quirk his son would have. Hisashi. Excuse me prophet, would you tell me what kind of quirk my son will have? Prophet. Ah, it's you again and the child of prophecy. Your son is quirkless, but fear not, he will be given a quirk by a mighty hero. Hisashi. So my son has no quirk and it will be given to him by a powerful hero. Prophet. Yes, but I fear when people hear of how his quirkless nature he will be bullied and harassed. Hisashi. What do I do tomorrow? He has an appointment to see the quirk doctor. Prophet. Just tell him he can still be a hero no matter what happens, and in time he will receive the quirk which will set in motion the next half of the prophecy. The next day. At the doctor's office they wait for the results of Izuku's quirk when Dr. Yamanaka walks through the door with Izuku's test results. Dr. Yamanaka. Mr. and Mrs. Midoriya, I'm sorry to say that your son is quirkless. As tears in Izuku's eyes began to overflow, he looked up at his parents, and Hisashi followed the prophet's words. Hisashi. Izuku, don't worry, you can still be a hero, no matter what happens, so keep smiling and keep pushing forward. These words that came from Izuku's father lifted his spirits much more than anyone else could do. Hisashi. How about we train with Uncle Gunhead and we show everyone who says you can't be a hero that with hard work and dedication, you can be a hero. All these words spoken by his father comforted him, and so this reignited the passion inside his chest to keep striving to be the best hero he could be. There was only a year left in order for the next part of the prophecy to come to pass. Chapter 3: The Arrival. Over the course of a year Izuku and his father trained with Gunhead, but when it was announced that Izuku was quirkless, the harassment and bullying. These words of discrimination and hatred towards the quirkless, this only added fuel to the fire of his passion to be a hero even more. As Hisashi picked up Izuku from school, they headed towards Gunhead's gym and began to work out. Izuku being 5 now meant that the next prophecy was close to coming to pass. A television in Gunhead's office was on, and Gunhead called Hisashi in the office to see a special announcement. Breaking news. Reporter. We are here at Dagaba Municipal Beach where we see a heroes at a standoff against a group of foreigners. Hisashi. Turn the volume up. Reporter. In the group of foreigners are 2 children and 2 grown adults, consisting of a man and a woman. Hisashi. I'm heading down there with Izuku. This is the next part of the prophecy coming to pass. Gunhead. I'm coming with you. I told you I'm going to help you. As Hisashi, Izuku and Gunhead made their way to Dagaba Beach, they arrived in 20 minutes, and Hisashi pulled his badge and showed it to the heroes that he worked for the government customs. Hisashi. I work for government customs and I'm here to help negotiate the situation and get to the bottom of what's happening. As Hisashi walked past the heroes, the female foreigner had a barrier up. That was her quirk, so Hisashi approached the family and began to speak. Hisashi. Hello, my name is Hisashi. I work for immigration customs and I'd like to talk to you. Do or come in peace. The male foreigner began to speak and he introduced the rest of his family. Isaiah. My name is Isaiah, and the one with the barriers is my wife Sandra. The oldest boy is my son Ro, and the little one is Silver. Hisashi. Nice to meet all of you. Now do you come in peace? Isaiah. Yes, we come in peace. We just barely escaped with our lives. Hisashi. What do you mean escaped? Where did you flee from? Isaiah. We are from Acapulco, Guerrero, and in our village we were part of the first people who inherited these powers. The people began to fear us and rounded everyone with these powers so they could be put to death through crucifixion. It didn't matter men, women, children and the elderly, they were put to death. As the words spoken by Isaiah hit Hisashi, his stomach churned and disgusted as he informed the pros who were ready to harm a family that just escaped persecution. They were told that the foreigners come in peace and he would handle the situation personally. Hisashi. Mr. Isaiah, do you and your family have a place to stay? Isaiah. No, we left everything in our homeland to survive, but our sons carried things that assist their quirks. Hisashi. Well, you and your family are more hand welcome to stay with my family. I work for the customs and can get citizenship for you and your family. After getting adjusted to your new life, I'll help you get jobs and your sons will go to school. Isaiah. Thank you, I appreciate the help with everything you're willing to do for us. Hisashi. No problem, I can print the citizenship forms at home. It's just some simple questions you answer and we can send it to get reviewed the next day. I'll also show you around. This brought tears to the foreign family that they were accepted and were going to receive help after being on the run for a while. As Hisashi began to leave the scene with the family which just arrived, the crowd of bystanders and heroes made way and everything went back to normal and everyone went on about their day. As the Midoriya and the Ramirez family arrived at the Midoriya residence, the citizenship forms were printed and being filled out. I will use my actual last name for the family. Hisashi. Now the form asks for quirks, so you have to list the members of your family and the quirk they have. Isaiah. Okay, first is myself. I call my quirk Blades. I can manifest blades to assist in combat. It's also a useful skill for hunting. Second, my wife Sandra, her quirk is Barrier. This allows her to provide protection. Third, my son Ro, his quirk is Support Song. It allows him to play a melody that provides buffs like a support member of an RPG game. And lastly, my son Silver, his quirk was passed to him by his grandfather. He called it the 10 Commandments. Hisashi. The 10 Commandments, how does this quirk work? Isaiah. To be honest, I don't know how this quirk works. I never knew my father had a quirk, so he must have been the first to develop powers. At that moment Silver walked up to the adults and spoke. Silver. I know how to activate the quirk, Dad. Isaiah. How does it work? Silver. The 10 Commandments is a quirk with 10 forms that allows its user to activate different abilities. First form. Ice and Meteor. This form is its base form and it's strong and allows me to penetrate through elemental quirks. Second form. Explosion. As the name suggests, I can create explosions, but there is a drawback, it's the fact that I take damage also. Third form. Sulfurion. This form is speed based and allows me to attack multiple times before anyone can react. Fourth form. Renasive. This is the ceiling form. It allows me to seal elemental quirks that have excessive strength. Fifth form. Blue Crimson. This form lets me use a combination of fire and ice. Sixth form. Melforce. This could be used as a paralyzing or repulsion ability. Seventh form. Gravity Core. Changing the density of the user to create stronger impacts. Eighth form. Million Suns. A holy attribute to expel darkness. Ninth form. Sacrifice. Lets me gain extreme power, but I must sacrifice my emotions except for anger. 10th form. Twilight Star. Grandpa said this form will be accessible when the time is right. As for the rest of the forms, that's how he explained it to me. As the two adults were shocked as to how a child came to possess this power, then Hisashi spoke. Hisashi. What brought you guys to this side of the world? Isaiah. I had a dream that a huge persecution was going to happen, and part of the dream was that my son was going to be a hero, and he was helping someone who looked like your son. Chapter 4 10-year time skip and villain encounter. 10 years have passed since the Ramirez family arrived in Mustafa City. The bullying and harassment Izuku faced had gone down greatly because Silver was by his side. The one person who kept harassing Izuku was Katsuki Bakugo, but Silver always put him in his place. As the final days of middle school approached, the teacher asked what career choice the students would go toward, but the career papers were tossed in the air when he said, "You're all going to be heroes." Then a familiar voice rang. Katsuki. Hey teach, don't lump me in with the extras, I'm aiming for UA. I'm going to be the new one hero. Teacher. That's right, you applied to UA. So did Silver and Midoriya. Everyone began to laugh because Izuku's quirk hadn't manifested yet, but as Katsuki rushed Izuku and his fighting instincts took over thanks to Uncle Gunhead and he judo flipped Katsuki, that's when all the laughter and harassment stopped. The moment Izuku beat a quirk user left everyone shocked. As the school day ended, everyone went home. Katsuki was held back by his underlings, and Silver and Izuku were on their way to train with Uncle Gunhead. The two boys have been trained since the age of 5. Silver. Hey Izuku. Izuku. What's up bro? Silver. I got a gift for you. Izuku. What's the gift? Silver. Until your quirk manifests, I made this energy bow a support weapon for the situation. Is a huge disadvantage to your quirk. It fires paralyzing energy arrows so it doesn't kill. Izuku. Wow, it's lightweight and foldable, you could give pro support heroes a run for their money. Silver. Yeah, I also thought since my parents taught you to use a bow it would be a good weapon. So the two friends who grew up together left school and were heading to train with Uncle Gunhead. It wasn't until a text message was received by Izuku. Izuku. I got a text from Uncle Gunhead. Silver. What's it say? Hey guys, sorry to let you know last minute, but something came up and training will be postponed until tomorrow. Izuku. I guess we got a day off. Silver. Okay, so you wanna grab something to eat before we head home? Izuku. I'm down. As the two head into town, they begin to talk like regular guys, just as if quirks didn't exist. This was a lesson taught to them by Gunhead. He would say when not in uniform act like a civilian, like the hero Superman. The two took those words to heart and talked about guy stuff such as music, cars, girls. Silver. So Izuku, I gotta ask, what kind of girl is your type? As Izuku was rubbing the back of his head embarrassed, he turned his head to the right, and at that moment it looked like his eye would have popped out of his head. Izuku. That girl over there is my type. He made point to the girl using his head as to not make it obvious, and this girl had brown hair and styled into bob cut. Silver. Wow, she's cute, so that kind of girl is your type. Looks like she's meeting someone. They hear a voice call out the name Michako. It was another girl, it looked like they were friends. Izuku. So what type of girl do you like? Silver. I told you when we saw her. Silver. I'm looking at her right now. Izuku turned his head only to see another girl walk up to the brunette he liked, and she was a beauty. Izuku. So that's your type, the mature sophisticated type. Silver. Let go talk to them, maybe we get to know them and we could have girlfriends before high school. Izuku. I'm down, let's ask them to lunch. Silver. Great idea. As Silver and Izuku had the plan of attack to get to know these girls, they didn't know that the same girls had a similar conversation. Ichako Pav. Wow, I can't believe I'm hanging out with my childhood friend Yamomo. It's been years since elementary school. I hope she'll remember me. I see her, she looks like a princess. Ichako. Yamomo. Momo. Ichako-chan. Ichako. How have you been? It's been years. Momo. I've been well, I was starting to think I'd never see you again. Ichako. Silly, we're best friends, of course we'd meet again. Suo, any boyfriend to speak of? As Momo blushed and responded with no, she still had her innocence. Ichako. Hey, check out those guys over there. As Ichako gestured with her head as not to make it obvious. Momo. Out of those two, who is your type? Ichako. The guy with the crazy green and black hair who has the goatee that makes him look hexy. Momo. I'm leaning towards his friend, the tall, dark and handsome one. Ichako. Wait, they're coming this way. Back to the main story. As Silver and Izuku approach the young ladies, they can see a blush on both of the girls' faces. Silver. Hey ladies, how's it going? Ichako. Momo. We're doing fine. Silver. Would you both like to join my brother and I for lunch? As the two girls couldn't resist how handsome the two guys were, they went to a diner to have something to eat, then they began to get to know each other. Silver. I'm Silver Ramirez, it's a pleasure to meet both of you. Izuku. I'm Izuku Midoriya, it's nice to meet you guys. Momo. I'm Momo Yaoi Rozu. Ichako. I am Uraraka Ichako. As they all got acquainted with one another, something kept bugging Momo, then she spoke the issue. Momo. Silver, you mentioned that you and Midoriya are brothers. Silver. Yes, we are, we grew up together, so we're like family. As Silver told Momo and Ichako his life story on how he and his family escaped persecution and Midoriya's family took his family in, so they call each other brother. As this get-together ended, they exchanged contact info, Izuku with Ichako and Silver with Momo. The two girls left and a high-pitched squall could be heard of joy as Silver and Izuku paid for their meal. They left the diner and saw people running and screaming as they heard, "Run, a villain is attacking and he's taken two girls as hostages." As Izuku and Silver heard this, they were worried if it had been Momo and Ichako. As the two ran towards the directions of the cries for help, and when they arrived at the scene, they came face to face with the villain Sludge, who had taken Momo and Ichako hostage. This angered both Izuku and Silver. They noticed the pro hero's death arms. Hamui Woods and MT. Lady weren't doing anything, so the two, without thinking, charged. Izuku took position and brought out the energy bow and arrow, had his shot charge up, while Silver had continued to charge and shouted. Silver. Third commandment, Silpharian. As Silver shouted this, everyone who was watching the villain encounter saw Silver vanish due to high speed. In a split second, the two girls were in his arms and he put them down near Izuku. At this moment, Izuku fired the paralyzing arrow, preventing the villain to flee. Silver. Seventh commandment, Gravity Core. As Silver shouted this, he cocked back his fist, unleashing a power punch that splattered the villain. Izuku then found a bottle and scooped up the villain until a loud voice was heard. "I am here." It was All Might, but as soon as he arrived, the villain Hob in capture, he heard and saw the young man with green hair yell. Izuku. You dare call yourselves pro heroes? A real hero does whatever possible to save those in danger. There is always a way out. Hearing these words from the young man made All Might remember that what he said was the real reason why he became a hero. The hope that no matter the situation, there is always a way out. As Silver and Izuku pick up the girls, they wake up from being unconscious, only to see that they're being held bridal style, and so Silver and Izuku split up to drop off the girls at their homes. Silver. Hey Yaoi Rozu, if you find yourself in danger, give me a call and I'll be there. Momo. Momo, I want you to call me Momo, and I promise when I'm in danger I'll call you. At the same time. Izuku. Hey Uraraka, if you find yourself in danger, give me a call and I'll be there. Ichako. Ichako, I want you to call me Ichako. As Silver and Izuku reunited from escorting the girls home, we hear a voice boom. I am here. It was All Might and he spoke to us. All Might. I'm impressed, you two have the makings to become great heroes. I'm looking for a successor who will take my quirk. Silver. My name is Silver, I already have a quirk. Izuku. I'm Izuku Midoriya and I am quirkless. All Might. Then Midoriya and Silver, I will train you to become the next symbols of peace. Chapter 5, Becoming the Symbols of Peace. After Izuku and Silver had that encounter with Sludge, the villain All Might had then offered the young men the chance to become his successors. All Might told them to meet him at the Gaba Municipal Beach. Izuku and Silver had arrived there at 5 a.m, only to see All Might waiting for the two. All Might. Okay guys, what school are you applying to? Silver. Izuku. We're going to UA. All Might. Well, then remove your shirts guys. Silver. All Might, we don't swing that way. All Might. No you fool, I need to see how you're well conditioned your bodies are. As Izuku and Silver removed their shirts to reveal them wearing muscle shirts and having well-toned muscles, the two showed All Might what potential they had physically. Banned, he was impressed. All Might. How long have the two of you trained? Izuku. We've both been training since the age of 5 with my uncle Gunhead. All Might. You mean the pro hero Gunhead? Izuku. Yeah, he and my father are close friends and he was the best man at the wedding. All Might. Okay, now young Silver, how did you come to know young Midoriya and Gunhead? As Silver told the story of his persecution and how Izuku's family was the only ones who helped them when Silver and his family arrived to Mustafa City. After hearing this sad story, All Might had tears in his eyes after hearing the story of Silver and how he wants to be a hero. All Might. Well, we have 10 months to prepare both of you for the UA entrance exam. Silver, since you have your grandfather's quirk, train the forms you least use, and as for Midoriya, I will pass my quirk to you now, so we can begin to have you adapt to my quirk. As the training began, both Silver and Izuku had exceeded their limits and could push beyond normal boundaries. Within the span of 3 months, Izuku and Silver had leveled up again. Silver had a more in-depth understanding of the 10 commandments, the quirk his grandfather passed down to him. While Izuku trained using one for all in the span of 3 months, he was able to control 30% of the power. On top of this, All Might felt that the two should meet his master Gran Torino. When the time came for the two to meet Gran Torino, 6 months passed and they spent those 6 months training under a retired hero and the current one hero yet again. Izuku and Silver leveled up again, nearing the strength levels of the top 10 heroes. Now Izuku had control of 50% of One for All and learned full cowl. As the training session ended, right on K, both cell phones of Izuku and Silver chimed off, notifying them of text messages. All Might began to get curious. All Might. For the 9 months I've trained you, both your phones sound off at the same time, why is that? Silver. A girl I've been talking to for a while, she was the girl involved in the sludge villain incident. We've gotten close. Izuku. Yeah, I'm also talking to a girl, she was the friend of the girl Silver is talking to, and we video chat and talk on the phone. All Might. You both have girlfriends? Izuku. Silver. Yeah. Izuku had gotten a text that was sent from Uraraka and it read. Hey Midoriya, me and Yaoi Rozu are together, we made you and Silver some food, so are you guys free to meet up? Izuku had shown the message to Silver, and when All Might saw his disciples were making plans, he excused himself and let the young teens enjoy some time off. The test would be next week, so it was Friday, and gave Izuku and Silver a 3-day weekend. Izuku replied to the text. Hey Uraraka, me and Silver are together right now and we're at Agaba Municipal Beach where we just finished training. As Izuku informed the girls of their location, All Might went into his skinny form and in 10 minutes the two girls arrived and saw a skinny man with Izuku and Silver. The two girls rushed their guys and when they noticed this man before them, Achako asked. Achako. Guys, I don't mean to be rude, but who is this? Silver. This is my old employer Toshinori Yagi, he was asking if I'd like to work for him during the summer. Momo. What kind of work? Silver. Maintenance for his apartment complex, like painting, plumbing, electrical, you know the basics. As Momo and Achako had gotten there at Agaba Beach, they were glad they made enough sandwiches for them. Momo. Excuse me Toshinori-san, please have a sandwich, we've made more than enough. Toshinori. Thank you, I must be on my way. Silver, let me know by the end of today. Toshinori said this as a cover-up so they wouldn't suspect his identity. Was All Might. The four set up a small space on the beach and enjoyed lunch when Momo directed the question at Achako. Momo. Achako, are you ready for the UA entrance exam next week? Achako. Yes I am and I hope I'm good enough to pass. Izuku. Uraraka, you're going to UA? Achako. Yes I am and so is Momo, but she got in through recommendation, so there is no need for her to take the test. Silver. Well, that means we'll be seeing a lot more of each other because we're also taking the UA entrance exam. The girls' faces turned a bright red color since both guys they liked would be at the same school, and so as they finished lunch, they escorted both girls home. Silver. Hey Izuku, think we should invite All Might to the show after the UA exam? Izuku. I don't know, I don't think he's the type of person who would go to rock concerts. Silver. I mean, it's a way to unwind and relax, and it will be a thanks for training us. Izuku. Okay, send him a text now then. Silver pulled his phone out and sent All Might a text. Hey All Might, sorry to bother you, but would you like to come to a concert Izuku and I will be performing in? As Silver waited for a reply, his phone chimed. I would love to go, and the address to where the show is, and can I bring some friends? Sure All Might, that sounds great, we're going on around 7 p.m, so we will see you there. Chapter 6 Entrance Exam. As the duo prepared for the entrance exam, they knew it was going to be tough, but they were prepared by Gunhead and All Might, so anything that was going to be thrown at them they were ready. As the duo were about to leave home, they were stopped by Silver's brother Ro. He was proud that both of them were aiming for UA. He also reminded them about the show they were going to play. Ro. You guys off to take the exam? Silver. Yeah. Izuku. Yes. Ro. I hope you're ready, I was lucky enough to make it into UA through recommendation. If you guys wanted I could have recommended you both. Izuku. What would have been the point if we didn't grab our goal with our own hands? Ro himself was able to attend UA and become a hero. He was known as the Bard, with his quirk support song being one of the few heroes with a support quirk to graduate from UA. Ro. Well, I see you both don't want to take the easy way out, I'm proud of you both. As Silver and Izuku left and headed towards UA, Silver got a text from Momo. Momo, hey, sorry to bug you before the big test, I just wanted to wish you luck. Silver. Thanks, I appreciate the thought, I'll do my best. As Izuku and Silver kept walking towards Yue, they ran into Ichako. As she tripped, Izuku was fast enough to catch her before she fell, and they stared deeply into each other's eyes when they heard Silver. Silver. Okay lovebirds, let's keep walking before we're late. As the two blushed, they walked to Yue and made their way to the orientation. As President Mick walked to the podium to greet the future incoming class, he made his presentation until a robotic-like student interrupted him. Iida. My name is Tenya Iida, and you mentioned 3 obstacles we'll face, but on the printout there are 4. If this is a misprint, I'm highly disappointed in Yue. Present Mick. Well, Gladar asked, but that is a faux villain, and you can choose to run away. Iida. Thank you for answering my concern. As all the people who attended the orientation were guided to the testing field, Izuku and Silver prepared themselves for a challenging test. As everyone was ready, President Mick yelled go. Izuku and Silver took off at the speed of sound. Silver using Sulfarian and Izuku, with full cowl at 30%, they came across 4 robots, and each were 3-pointers. While everyone else was still at the starting line looking confused. Present Mick. In the pro world there is no ready set. After 10 minutes, Izuku and Silver were tied at 75 points apiece. Silver constantly switching between forms and Izuku, showing his control over the output of his power. Teacher's observation room. All Might. Look at those 2 go, they look like they have great potential. Izawa. Yes, I agree with you there. Midnight. The green-haired boy looks strong, but the one with silver hair looks to be just as powerful. Nezu. Does anyone have information on them? Dunhead. Hello Nezu, I know about them. Nezu. You do, if possible, can you tell me who they are? Dunhead. They are my nephews. Not by blood, I've trained them since they were 5. Nezu. Is the young man with silver hair a foreigner? Dunhead. Yes, but he's been here since he was 5. Dunhead tells everyone Silver's story, and they all shed tears after hearing the hardship he faced. Back to the exam. As time passed by, 3 minutes remaining, Izuku and Silver ended up with 86 points until they felt a rumble. It was the faux villain. As the examinees ran away screaming Izuku, and Silver heard a familiar voice. It was Ichako screaming for help. The two rushed to help Silver, switching to blue-crimson form, and Izuku using 40% of his power to reach her in time. Silver froze the robot in order to stop it from advancing. As Izuku pulled Ichako from the rubble, he set her aside at a good distance. Then Izuku and Silver both jumped high up in the air. Silver, you ready, bro? Izuku. Born ready. Silver. Gravity core. Izuku Smayosh. As the two made contact with the giant robot, it exploded and they were falling at a fast rate when Silver thought quickly and switched to the form Melfers and used the repulsion ability it generates to slowly float back down. Izuku grabbed onto Silver's shirt to be able to float down safely. As Silver and Izuku were back on the ground, everyone began muttering about what they just did until an elderly woman was going around healing people and asked if anyone needed to be healed. As Izuku picked up Uraraka and said to the woman, Izuku. This girl was trapped under the rubble and has a broken leg. Recovery girl. I'm recovery girl, I'm here to help. As she kissed Uraraka on the forehead, her leg was feeling better and Izuku put her down and everyone was dismissed from the exam. As they were leaving, Uraraka had tackled Izuku with a hug, saying thank you for saving her, and she didn't forget to thank Silver. Uraraka. What are you guys up to after this? Izuku. We got to go play a show later in the evening. Uraraka. Play a show? Are you guys musicians? Izuku. Yeah, we play for Silver's brother's band Dark Oblivion. Uraraka. Silver, is this true? Silver. Yeah, we got a show tonight and we're gonna grab some food and head to practice before the actual show. Uraraka. Wow, you guys are busy going to be heroes and musicians. Silver. No, playing shows is a hobby, we don't plan to do a world tour anytime soon. If you want, ask Momo and we can get you 2 tickets for the show so you guys can watch us play tonight. Uraraka. Wow, thanks Silver, I bet it will be fun. Chapter 7 Live Show After Entrance Exam. It was around 6 p.m. Both Silver and Izuku finished practice with Ro and had enough time to eat and rest before the show starts at 8 p.m. So Silver sent All Might a text saying how many people will be bring. From Silver. Hello All Might, how many people will you be bringing with you to the live show tonight? From All Might. Hello young Silver, I will bring 4 people with me, so in total we are 5 people. From Silver. Okay All Might, good to know. If there will be a bouncer at the door, tell him you were invited by Izuku and myself. If he says no, then I'll have 5 tickets for you and your guests. What name should I have them under? From All Might. Have them under the name Toshinori Yagi. From Silver. Got it, we will see you here later at 8, so just arrive at 7:30. As Silver finished inviting All Might, Izuku was texting Ichako if she and Momo were going to make it, and it turns out that they were excited to be invited. 2 tickets were reserved under Ichako's name, so the two could get in. Now that the ticket reservations were handled, Izuku and Silver went to eat at Fireblade. This was a restaurant that was owned by Izuku and Silver's dads. After getting settled in, the two went into business together because Hisashi loved the Mexican cooking style. As Izuku and Silver ate, the two received a text from Ro. Bro. Hey bros, just a reminder, if I did or didn't mention it, we are playing the rock jazz set tonight. Izuku. Well, at least it sound like something All Might and his guests might enjoy. Silver. True, but for our rock jazz set we only have a few songs and they're the ones we alternate singing. Izuku. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, we better give it out best. The two went to hang out near a park as an hour had passed after they finished eating, so it was 7 p.m. They had an hour till the show, so they decided to head to the live house. As they arrived, they spotted All Might and his guests. As Silver and Izuku approached him, they called him by his civilian name. Silver. Hey Toshinori, how's it going? Ready to enjoy the show tonight? Toshinori. Ah, Silver and Midoriya. Yes, I'm ready to enjoy the show. These are my friends Shota Izawa, Nezu Hisashi Yamada and Narumi Kayama. Nezu. What genre of music will you be performing tonight? Izuku. Tonight we will be playing a jazz rock setlist tonight. Nezu Izawa. Did you say jazz rock? Both Silver and Izuku gave Nezu and Izawa weird looks. It wasn't until Toshinori said. Toshinori. Yeah, I also gave them the same look when I asked them about their favorite music. Both Izawa and Nezu were close to fangirling like crazy. Izawa, who usually looked dead tired, looked re-energized. Silver. We will see you guys inside, we got to go set up. Toshinori. Okay, we will be in the front row. As Silver and Izuku went into the venue to prepare the equipment, Izuku got a text from Ichako. Ichako. Hey Izuku, me and Momo are here, we'll be in the front. Izuku. Okay, thanks for coming Silver, and I hope you both enjoy the show. As Izuku and Silver got ready, was tuning his guitar for the show, and as he saw his brothers arrive. Bro. Hey, are you two ready? Izuku. Yes, I'm ready. Silver. Yeah, I'm ready. It was 7:50, all preparations were completed and the show was about to begin. The song setlist was already decided. Silver usually sings and plays bass for the band, but when it's the jazz rock setlist, the singing alternates between Izuku and Silver. 7:59 p.m. showtime. As the curtain was lifted, Silver walked to the mic and introduced the band. Silver. Hello, good evening everyone, we are Dark Oblivion and we're a cover band. As bass and singer I'm Silver, on rhythm guitar we have my brother Izuku, on lead guitar we have my brother Ro, and lastly we have Takeru, our drummer. Hope you enjoy the show tonight. Silver. This is the hero, the saint, the tyrant, and the terrorist. Silver. I've been told I'm evil. Born into this world of sin. From the day I left my mother's womb. And I've been told that I've fallen. That my nature is untrue, they said. You need our God's forgiveness, son, or you'll burn in hell with everyone. Oh. I kindly asked them why. I may have caught them by surprise, but I know they'll think of something. I know they'll think of something. They always think of something. They always think of something. You can feel it in your soul. What no one ever knows, cause we'll always think of something. We'll always think of something. We'll always think of something. You'll always think of something. Singing out, oh. The heroes and the saints, the tyrants and the terrorists. Depends on who you're asking. I wonder who you're asking. Depends on who you're asking. I wonder who you're asking. You can feel it in your soul. What no one ever knows, well. You know we'll think of something. We always think of something. You know we'll think of something. We always think of something. What can we know? Oh. Izuku, this next song is called Sing When No One's Around. I will sing this one. The notebooks aside. Every sentence I write is swiftly crossed out before long. And every word that I say seems so foolish the next day. So I keep my eager tongue on a leash. For a fool has his way with his words all the time. Lest the wise man can utter a sound. So I keep all my words locked away for the day. And I sing them when no one's around. Yeah, I sing them when no one's around. If I say love, you might think of your heartache. Or the bliss that a lover can bring. If I say God, you might think of a man sitting high in the clouds. Or a glory that the word fails to sound. Silver. Our last song will be sung by me, so hope you've enjoyed this setlist. Silver. Stop what you're doing. Can't you see I'm helpless? I'm helpless. You put your spell on me. I can't fight it. Your hair, your dress, beside the table candlelight. Your skin, your smile, your laughter echoes through the night. There's a haze falling on the room. But I can see you clearly. You put a feeling in the night. You put a feeling in the night. What am I supposed to do when I've lost all of my wits about me? Cause I can't control the sense of flight. When I wrap my arms around you tight. What am I supposed to do when you keep on putting that feeling? You put a feeling in the night. Chapter 8, UA First Day. The next day it was 8 AM after the live show that Izuku and Silver played. They were relaxing after playing the show and having to do the UA entrance test on the same day. When out of the blue Izuku received a text message from All Might. All Might. Young Midoriya, can you and Silver meet me at the Gaba Municipal Beach? It's urgent that we all meet. Izuku. Yes All Might, I understand, we'll be there in 20 minutes. Izuku. Hey Silver, I got a message from All Might saying to meet him at the beach, we got 20 minutes. Silver. Okay, let's dip and see what he wanted to talk to us about. The two left and headed towards the beach where they trained with All Might, and as they arrived at the beach with 5 minutes to spare, they saw two figures in the distance. As they approached them, it was All Might and Nezu. All Might. Good morning to you both. I'm sorry to call you both out this earlier in the morning, but we couldn't wait, so we decided to tell you both in person. Nezu. Good morning, I enjoyed myself at the live show last night. Allow me to properly introduce myself, I am Principal Nezu from UA High School. At that moment both Silver and Izuku were really shocked to find out that their soon-to-be school principal had attended the live show. Nezu. Now don't worry, you're not in trouble. I wanted to tell you both in person that you've both been accepted into UA, everyone else is receiving a letter for their acceptance, but I was impressed with both your performance. I expect great things from both of you. Nezu said this and began to walk away. He left All Might and them to talk about how the school was going to be. All Might. Okay boys, school begins in 2 weeks' time. 1 week for everyone to get their results, and the following week Monday school begins, so for the time being, I will train both of you again, so that you can grow stronger before school begins. Izuku. Since you trained us before the entrance exam, I have control over 50% of the one for all. I'd like to gain more control, even if it's by a little bit. All Might. If you two want, let's begin now. Silver. All Might, if possible would you spar with me, I'd like to improve one of my forms that I feel I'm lacking in. All Might. Of course young Silver, I'll be more than glad to assist you. Which form are you lacking control in? Silver. I need to control my 9th form, Sacrifice. All Might. Can you remind me which form is that? Silver. Sacrifice, the form in which all emotions except anger are sacrificed. This allows me to have a major power boost, but I'd like to be able to hold back the rage, so I don't hurt my allies. All Might. Very well, I'll assist you. If this form can be a valuable asset, then I'll gladly help you. I'm skipped to acceptance letters. As Izuku and Silver trained until they gained more control over their quirks, Izuku received a text message from Ichako. Ichako. Hey Izuku, I got accepted into UA. Izuku. That's great Silver, and I also got in, so we will see you there Monday. I'm skipped to first day of school. As the day began, both Izuku and Silver were ready to go to school, and they headed out. They were both looking for class 1. As they find the door, Silver asked Izuku a question. Silver. You think Bakugo is in our class? Izuku. I hope not. Silver. What about that guy Ida? Izuku. I don't know, I didn't really get a bad vibe from him, he probably needs to relax a bit. Silver. Let's walk in before we're late. As the two walk into class 1, all eyes fall upon them as the students began to whisper about how we were the only ones to fight the zero-pointer, then walked up RoboCop. Ida. Hello, my name is Tenyu Ida, and I was what you both did during the practical exam. You guys probably figured that there was another way to pass the exam. Before Silver and Izuku could respond to what Ida said, they heard explosions, and it was none other than Bakugo who foolishly rushed them with a fire blast before the impact. Silver thought quickly and went into the form Runisov to absorb and seal the quirk. Everyone was surprised until Izuku punched Bakugo with a 2% smash, and he was sent to the back of the classroom and made a dent in the wall. As the commotion had ended, a cough was heard, and when the class turned around to see who had walked in, it was their homeroom teacher. Izawa. My name is Shota Izawa, and you will address me as Izawa-sensei. The moment Izuku and Silver turned around, they thought they were going to get in trouble, but Izawa grew a small smile and continued speaking. Izawa. Okay, get your PE uniforms on and meet me on the field. Everyone dressed in their PE uniforms. As they were on the field, as Izawa asked them to do, and Ichako chimed in. Ichako. Excuse me Izawa-sensei, aren't we supposed to be at the opening ceremony? Izawa. Well, to become heroes we don't have the luxury of wasting time, so today we'll do a quirk apprehension test. Midoriya and Silver, you both ranked the highest in the entrance exam, so what were your scores for throwing distance without your quirks? Midoriya. 154 meters. Silver. 144 meters. As everyone in class was shocked to hear the results, they still didn't believe because it didn't seem possible. Izawa. Okay Midoriya, show us what you got. As Izuku was handed a ball that would read the distance it was thrown, it was linked to Izawa's phone, and so Izuku charged his power using 50% of one for all. As it was read, he said at the top of his lungs, smash. As the ball kept flying off into distance, it had left the atmosphere. The machine read it as infinity. Next was Silver's turn, and as Aizawa had extra machines to test the rest of the students, so Silver didn't have to worry about not having enough equipment to test everyone. As Aizawa passed the ball to Silver, he lightly tossed it in the air and shouted seventh commandment. Gravity core. As the ball was coming down, Silver had his hands in a position to swing a baseball bat at the perfect timing. He made contact which caused the ball to fly out of the atmosphere, earning himself an infinity. Everyone was shocked to see what kind of powerhouses they had in their class. Everything goes as canon. Izuku and Silver being overpowered tied for first. Chapter 9 Heroes vs Villains. The next day after going through the quirk assessment, the class was going to have a special teacher instruct them for the day when the voice boomed, "I am walking in like a normal person." It was All Might who was going to teach the class for the day, and so everyone excited for what he was about to announce. All Might. Good morning class. For today we will be conducting hero versus villain battles. Before school started you all submitted special costume designs. As All Might clicked a button on a remote, suitcases appeared from the wall. All were numbered by seating number. Everyone went to grab their costumes. All Might. Okay, everyone change into your costumes and meet me at training field Gamma. After everyone had finished changing, 2 students were missing. All Might was taking roll when he noticed neither Silver nor Izuku were there until everyone heard footsteps. They all turned towards the direction of the tunnel, only to see Silver and Izuku. Everyone was impressed at the costumes that both Izuku and Silver wore. Then a flood of questions came from different directions. Before that happened, All Might spoke. All Might. Glad you both could join us. Now what we will do today are hero versus villain team battles. Before I make the team Silver and Midoriya please step forward. Both Izuku and Silver, confused about what was going to happen, took a step forward. Then All Might explained what was going to happen next. All Might. Midoriya, since you and Silver both did extremely well during the entrance exam, you both will play the heroes. Now Bakugo, Kirishima, Kaminari, Todoroki, Iida, you all will fight Midoriya and Silver. Class. What? Aoi Rozu. All Might sensei, is that such a good idea? All Might. The reason for this fight specifically is to see how far both Midoriya and Silver can be pushed to their breaking point. Now get ready. Silver. Ha 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 ha. Psalms 144 1 KJVA Psalm of David. Blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Izuku. Oh no, if you guys believe in a god I suggest you start to pray. Kirishima. Why? Izuku. When Silver begins to quote Bible verses, it means you're all about to get an ass whooping of a lifetime. Bakugo. Ha 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 ha, you honestly believe we're afraid of someone who quotes the Bible? Izuku. It's your funeral. As Bakugo continued to scoff, he noticed that the others began to pray for mercy. Bakugo. What are you bucks doing? Kirishima. Well, we're praying, to be honest, you should too. These two were ranked first and second for the practical exam. Then while the group that was selected to fight Izuku and Silver finished praying, All Might announced over the loudspeaker. All Might. Let the battle begin. Katsuki. Why? Before Katsuki could finish the word he was about to say, Silver was already using the form gravity core and punched Katsuki in the solar plexus. At the point of impact, Katsuki went flying. Before Kaminari could unleash a lightning bullet, Izuku roundhouse kicked Kaminari. Then Iida reacted to the situation and was about to unleash his secret technique, Puro Burst. Before Iida made contact with Izuku, Silver had intercepted the attack using the form Sulfarian to match Iida's speed. Observation room. Mina. Wow, who knew Silver and Midoriya were this powerful? Ichako. They aren't using their full power. Everyone. What? Momo. This is only small fraction of what they can do. After hearing this, the whole class was shocked that Ichako and Momo knew the potential that Izuku and Silver had. Back to the fight. Just as Iida and Silver clashed with both power and speed, Izuku appeared out of Iida's blind spot and sent him flying with a smash. Todoroki then shot an ice shard at Izuku. As it was close to making contact, it had faded away thanks to Silver using the form Runasive. Todoroki was shocked that his attack was cancelled out. Then he was met with Silver's fist to his chin. Using the base form Ice and Meteor, everyone was knocked out when All Might announced. All Might. The team of Izuku, Midoriya and Silver are the winners. Katsuki. But that I'll show you who the real winner is. Katsuki, furious that he lost to the strongest duo at UA, he pulled the pin that was on his gauntlets and unleashed a powerful explosion that could kill anyone, but little did Katsuki know he was already intercepted. Silver. Runasive. As Silver's form Runasive was used to seal the quirk attack, causing it to be absorbed. While this happened, Izuku leaped over Silver and drop-kicked Katsuki, knocking him out. After everyone witnessed this, they were still shocked that these two powerhouses were in their class. As Silver and Izuku went to help their fellow classmates who fought them, they were picked up and carried to the observation room. All Might. Good job you two, both of you exceeded my expectations. Now we'll end class here tomorrow. You will all be going to USJ for rescue training. Chapter 10 USJ Incident. The next day after Izuku and Silver dominated the hero versus villain exercise, Izuku would join Silver's family for breakfast. It felt as if they had a third son. When appeared Silver's older brother Ro. Bro. Good morning everyone. Everyone. Good morning. Bro. Hey Izuku, lil bro, I got some special news for you both. I just got hired at UA. Izuku Silver. No way could we have jam sessions during lunch. Bro. Ha 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 ha, sure, just bring your equipment to class and during lunch we can jam out, but today we go to USJ, remember. As Izuku and Silver head for school, Ro was going to meet them later as the dynamic duo walked into their class and were complimented by their classmates on how well they did during the hero versus villain training exercise. The class got to their seats as Aizawa walked in and said, "You're getting better at shutting up." Aizawa. Okay class, today we head to the UST training facility after lunch. Lunchtime. It was lunchtime and everyone was hyped to go to USJ. When the school security system activated warning level 3 security breach, the students began to panic as the security system announced where to report to. When Izuku and Silver saw it was only news reporters who breached the gate. As Izuku and Silver found Ichako and Iida to tell them what's going on, they planned on how to stop the students from going crazy. Ichako made Iida weightless and Silver grabbed Iida and threw him to the exit where Iida made his announcement. Iida. Students, if you do not panic, it's a false alarm, look outside and you will see a group of news reporters. As the students saw this, they calmed down and went back to eating, but they were still on edge. Lunch had ended, the trip to USJ was still going to happen as all students got on the bus. The trip was going to take 45 minutes to get there. Asui. Excuse me, Midoriya and Silver. The dynamic duo had heard someone call their names and they turned to the girl who looked like a frog. Silver. Izuku. Yes. Asui. I'm the kind of person who says what's on her mind, so how come you call each other brothers if you're not related? Silver. Well, to answer your question, Asui, I'm a foreigner and my family and I came to Japan when I was 5. We had to leave our homeland because of the manifestation of our quirks. We heard about how Japan accepted those who had quirks, but when we arrived, it was Midoriya and his family who took us in and helped us get settled. Asui. I'm sorry if that question brought bad memories for you. Silver. It's okay because I use that as motivation to become a hero. Midoriya and I will change the world and bring peace. Little did they realize that they arrived at USJ to be greeted by two heroes, the rescue pro hero No.13 and the 17th rank pro hero the Bard. The Bard. Hey Silver and Izuku. No.13. How do you know those two? The Bard. They're brothers. Everyone was shocked to know the Bard had two brothers, so after everyone recompassed themselves they walked into USJ, where No.13 was explaining what kind of rescue situations we would have to face when we become pros. As the class was receiving instructions, there opened a black portal in the middle of USJ. This caught the students' attention. They saw villains walk out of the portal when Kirishima said, "We're going to practice rescues while fighting fake villains." Aizawa. Those aren't fake villains, we're under attack. No.13 get the students to safety. There appeared a phantom-like man that blocked the escape route. The whole class was afraid because they weren't expecting to face off against villains so soon. Kurogiri. I cannot allow any of you to leave. After he finished his sentence, this phantom man was punched in his weak spot by Kirishima and Bakugo. Aizawa was about to rush in alone when he felt three hands tap his shoulder. It was Silver, Izuku and Ro. Izuku. We're ready to give you a hand. Silver. Let us help you, Aizawa-sensei, you won't last long without backup. Ro the Bard. These guys are powerful and you'll need all the help you can get. Aizawa. Okay, but both of you better not die on me. As Izuku and Silver charged at the army of villains, they laughed and began to wonder how two teens would be able to beat adults. Silver. Malachi 43KJV. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. After Silver had finished reciting the Bible scripture, the villains were confused when Silver shouted at the top of his lungs, "Second commandment explosion." Silver slammed his fist to the earth and an explosive wave hit the villains. Izuku then threw a kick, screaming smash, causing massive wind pressure to send enemies flying away. Aizawa was surprised to see they had more power than they let on. Then Aizawa began to hear multiple melodies coming from behind him. It was the Bard's quirk support song. As he played, Aizawa noticed he felt stronger, faster and able to use his quirk frequently. Aizawa also noticed the same for both Izuku and Silver. The three glowed with a wide aura, while the villains began to glow a red aura. The Bard's quirk support song not only provides a buff to allies, but can add debuffs to enemies. It was up to Silver, Izuku and Aizawa to prevent any villain from getting close to the students and Ro. Until the leader of the villains grew angry and shouted. Nomu. Aizawa was then blindsided by a mutant bird-looking thing. He then shouted in pain as the creature pummeled him into the ground. The bard kept playing the melody that granted speed, strength, endurance, stamina, defense and health recovery boost. Well, this was played as Awa was completely being healed and the Nomu was being affected by the debuffs, making its attacks weaker and easier to beat until Tamura. Nomu killed the girl with the spiky ponytail and the brunette with the bob haircut. As Tamura commanded the Nomu, it completely ignored the bard and aimed for Momo and Ichako. Both Izuku and Silver becoming furious, and Izuku tapped into 150% one for all as he launched a kick at the Nomu, while Silver landed a massive punch with gravity core. As the Nomu was launched by the two boys, Izuku realized his leg was broken. Silver. Izuku, can you stand? Izuku. No, I broke my leg, I can't get up. Silver. Leave the rest to me. Izuku. Okay, just don't die and come back safe. Silver. Bard, please focus healing Izuku and Izawa's injuries. Silver was angry, he couldn't accept that these villains tried to hurt his friends, brothers and his girlfriend Momo. Izuku and Ro noticed what Silver was about to do. Izuku. Whatever you guys do, don't leave this area, if you do Silver will target you like an enemy. Momo. Midoriya, what is Silver going to do? Izuku. He's about to unleash the second most powerful form, he has the drawback, if you get in his way he'll think you're an enemy. After Izuku explained this to Momo, the whole ground began to tremble as Silver was accumulating power when he finally yelled to the heavens, "Ninth commandment, sacrifice." From that point on, Silver attacked the villains as if he gone wild. Izuku and Ro noticed the rage was more contained than before. Villains were being knocked out left and right, they also suffered broken bones and fractures. When it came to the Nomu, Silver tore it to shreds without letting it regenerate. At that moment, All Might burst through the doors of USJ with multiple heroes as backup, only to find that the attack had been defended by Izuku and Silver. The villains fled after realizing that the pro heroes weren't going to let them get away easy. Silver approached the class of Wana and all the pro heroes who arrived as backup. Every one of them were ready in case he went berserk, but to their surprise, he was in control of the form sacrifice. The moment he deactivated his quirk, he fell to his knees in exhaustion. Everyone was evacuated, nobody was sent to the hospital since the bard was healing those who got injured with his quirk. Chapter 11 USJ Aftermath. As the class of Wana had been questioned about the events that transpired, Silver and Izuku were taken to the ambulance that was on standby to get some treatment. Izuku was going to get his broken leg fixed by recovery girl. Silver was to be given a stamina drip so the exhaustion wouldn't hit him as hard. After the questioning had been done, Detective Namasa was going to question Izuku and Silver but was stopped by the paramedics who said that the two were in no condition to answer any questions. It wasn't until they heard two people groan in pain. Ooh. Silver. Hey Izuku, do you feel like you just got hit by a train? Izuku. Yup, I got the exact feeling. Namasa. Since you boys are awake, can you answer one question? Silver. Sure, but please make it quick, my head is killing me. Namasa. Why did the two of you jump into the fight knowing full well you don't have a hero license? Izuku. It's simple, we would have had major casualties had we not joined as Awa-sensei in protecting the class. Silver. It's the reason we want to be heroes, to save people and give them hope. As Detective Namasa was about to leave, the door opened and 6 people rushed the 2 beds with Izuku and Silver laying down. Those 6 were Izuku's and Silver's parents, including their girlfriends Momo and Ichako. The 2 of them were laying down on hospital beds, just recovering when both guys were smacked upside the head by Momo and Ichako. Ichako. What were you idiots thinking? Izuku. Silver. You see, we. Momo. I'll answer that you idiots weren't thinking. After the guys received a scolding from their girlfriends, both of the teens' parents had a bead of sweat looking at their kids as they got scolded. Silver. How long were we out? Momo. About an hour. Since you're both healed, we were told to tell you both we have to report to class to see what's going to happen next. Time skip. Once Silver and Izuku were discharged from the hospital, the 2 along with Ichako and Momo headed back to UA. Momo and Ichako were in their school uniforms. While Izuku and Silver still had their hero costumes on. Silver's armor had cracks and chips, in which meant that he'd need a new costume. Once they walked into the class, Nedzu was about to address the class, and standing by his side were Izawa, All Might and Ro. Nedzu. You both are out of the hospital already? Izuku. Yeah, recovery girl healed my leg. Silver just needed a stamina IV drip. Silver. We're back to 100% Principal Nedzu. Nedzu. Glad to hear it. I'd like to commend your bravery for stepping up to protect your classmates. Now for the big announcement, school will be shut down for 2 weeks. Make sure to train, because after the 2 weeks we will proceed with the UA Sports Festival. Everyone was confused, they were just attacked during rescue training, and now they thought the villains could use the sports festival to attack again. Ida. Principal Nedzu, is it wise we hold the sports festival soon after an attack on our lives was just made? Nedzu. Not to worry Aida, we have recruited top-ranking pro heroes in order to serve as security to ensure that both you and the civilians in attendance are safe from harm. All students looked fired up for the upcoming events, this could be a chance for them to be scouted by pro heroes. Once the announcements were over, all students went home to prepare themselves for hellish training. Chapter 12 Sports Festival. After 2 weeks of hellish training, both Izuku and Silver decided to train individually so that whatever new tricks they came up with would be a big surprise to each other. When school started back up, Sports Festival had arrived and everyone had done their training in order to impress the agencies who were scouting for potential recruits. In the waiting room. Todoroki. Midoriya, Ramirez, I Shoto Todoroki, am proclaiming war on the two of you, seeing as how you two are the most powerful students. Hiroshima. Whoa Izuku, Silver, you guys don't have to answer. Silver. Well Todoroki, I'll gladly accept your declaration of war, but just know you'll always be third place. You could easily be second, but I'm not giving up my place to someone who half-asses their potential. Izuku. I'll also accept your declaration, but if you plan on winning then use your full power. While the three were finished talking, they heard Bakugo having a meltdown and began yelling like a madman. Katsuki. Listen here, half and half, you made the declaration to the wrong people, I'm the one who's going to be number one. Silver. Katsuki, there's no way you'll ever beat me or Izuku. Don't even think about aiming for a cheap shot now, wait until the festival begins and we'll show you how much of a gap is between us and you. When all participants of the sports festival walked onto the grounds, everyone felt nervous because of the massive roaring the crowd caused. Pro Hero Midnight was the proctor and said, "Can I get the freshman representatives up here please?" Many murmured because it was the first time in history that there would be 2 representatives. Katsuki had a massive ego and already walked to the stage saying thank you. Midnight. Will Izuku Midoriya and Silver Ramirez come to the podium please? Katsuki was nationally humiliated, thinking he had gotten the privilege to be the freshman representative until Midnight asked him to return to his class. Many people in the stands laughed. As Izuku and Silver approached the podium, Izuku spoke first. Izuku. Thank you everyone for coming out to show support, and we all here vow to show proper sportsmanship. Silver, would you like to add something? Silver. Everyone here has made it this far with their own power, so be prepared to use your full power. If you half-ass it then you're not worth of trying to be a hero. The stadium erupted with cheers and applause, knowing that this was going to be an interesting year for the sports festival. When the 2 representatives returned to their class, Midnight was going to announce the first event. Midnight. The first event is an obstacle course. As everyone lined up to begin the race, Izuku and Silver looked at each other, as if saying don't hold back. When the starter pistol sounded off, there were 2 massive bursts of air, as Izuku channeled one for all to 60%, Silver launched off with his form Silpharian. Once every compassed themselves, they followed after the 2 leaders, with both Katsuki and Todoroki slowly catching up. Izuku and Silver made it to Chasm and Izuku super jumped while Silver used Melforce to propel himself using the wind form known as Melforce. Once safely landing on the other side, the race continued. The final obstacle was almost in view when Izuku and Silver used the same tactic as the previous obstacle, one safely on the other side. Silver. Hey Izuku, want to make it easier for Momo and Ichako to catch up? Izuku. Sure, what do you have in mind? As Izuku and Silver waited for the stronger competition to arrive, they noticed how careful they were being when Silver shouted first commandment explosion. As Silver's fist made contact with the ground, all the mines that were buried under the ground went off, sending all those who were catching up flying backwards. After the explosion went off, Momo and Ichako ran and caught up to the leaders who were Izuku and Silver. That's when the 4 gave it everything they had while heading to the finish line. It was a first in UA history that the race ended in a tie between Izuku and Silver, with Momo and Ichako coming in 3rd and 4th, followed by everyone else. Chapter 13 Sports Festival Battles. The sports festival was close ending, but there was one major part of the festival that was missing, and that was the one-on-one battles. It was the event that everyone was waiting for to see how far the young heroes in training have come. Midnight had stepped to the podium and was about to announce the first 2 combatants. Midnight. Can Shinso, Hitachi and Silver come to the arena please? As both combatants left their respective areas, Momo, Izuku and Ichako wished Silver luck on his fight, but before he left, Ijiro pulled him aside. Ijiro. Silver, I know we don't speak much, but please heed my warning. That guy's quirk is brainwash. I guess if you verbally respond him you'll fall into his trap. Silver. Thanks for the warning Ijiro, if you ever need a sparring partner I'll be glad to help. As Silver made his way to the stage, claps and cheers began to die down. This was the chance Izuku and Silver waited for to show the world that they are here. The moment he stepped on the ring, everything went quiet as he and Shinso faced off. When Midnight shouted, "Begin!" the 2 combatants sized each other up, wondering who would make the first move. Shinso began by launching questions followed by insults until he said two things that angered Silver greatly. Shinso. I hear you're one of the best of Class 1A, must be nice to have a quirk as powerful as yours. Shinso, getting frustrated, began to launch his insults to get a response from Silver. Shinso. You're a coward, are you afraid, loser? You and your family don't belong here, and I bet the girl you're with is the biggest slut of all time. Silver. What did you saw? Shinso. Got ya, now walk out of the ring. As Shinso had finally gotten a response and ordered Silver to walk out of the ring, many of the heroes were surprised at Shinso's quirk but were wondering if it would be the end for Silver. It wasn't until the arena began to shake violently, Silver yelled his war cry and shouted Ninth Commandment sacrifice. Just as Silver rushed Shinso, Izuku noticed something different until he realized what it was. Izuku? Oh man, somebody better throw some prayers up for Shinso. Everyone who was next to Izuku was confused until Momo asked why. Momo? Why, I know that form was the same he used during USJ, but what's different? Izuku? If you guys had paid close attention to him during his fight at USJ, and now you'll notice he's twice as fast. It seems like he's able to combine two forms. Just as Silver was striking distance away from Shinso, Silver deactivated his quirk and launched a barrage of kicks and punches without letting up. Just as Shinso was near the edge of the ring, Silver Sparta kicked him off, concluding the fight. The crowd went wild seeing after witnessing an amazing first match. Silver walked over to Shinso and offered him a hand. Silver. Hey, I know you said those things just to get your quirk to activate. Shinso. Yeah, I'm sorry if it seems like I crossed the line. Silver. It's cool, but with a quirk like yours you can be an amazing hero. Shinso. You really think so? Silver. I know, so take a closer listen. Shinso paid attention and many of the crowd spectators were cheering for both combatants, and Shinso even heard heroes say how they made a mistake in placing him in the general ed course. Midnight. That's fine sportsmanship. Next up, can we have Izuku Midoriya and Shiro come to the arena? When both Shiro and Izuku were ready to fight one another, the match had begun. Shiro shot tape at Izuku, which he avoided using full cowl as Izuku flipped and practically danced in the air. Once in range, Izuku released a 5% smash on Shiro's stomach, causing him to go out of bounds. The other fights weren't as great as Izuku's or Silver's, but everyone did their best. But when both Momo and Ichako lost, Silver and Izuku went to pay them a small visit. Once they arrived through the door, they heard quiet sobs. When Izuku and Silver stepped into the nurse's office, both Momo and Ichako tried to dry their tears quickly. Ichako. I guess I know why you're both here. Momo. You're both going to break up with us, it's understandable. We're not strong enough to date the powerhouse duo of 1A. As Silver stepped in front of Momo while Izuku stepped in front of Ichako, they gave their girlfriends a light chop to the head. This had both girls confused as to what was going to happen next. Izuku. You guys did the best you could and we're both proud of you. Silver. Yeah, all you have to is work on your weaknesses, we'll be there to help you, so don't worry. Take it like a learning experience. You fail, what do you do? Get back up and keep trying. The words of comfort helped both Momo and Ichako were glad they met Izuku and Silver. It wasn't until an announcement was made for the last 4 contestants were to report to the field, and so Izuku and Silver left the infirmary. After arriving to the battlefield, Izuku and Silver saw Todoroki and Katsuki there as well. That's when Midnight announced something different than usual. Midnight. Since we have 4 contestants left, we will allow Izuku to decide who is fighting who. Izuku. I'll fight Bakugo Katsuki. Midnight. It's been decided, will Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo stay here? Silver and Todoroki, please wait outside the ring. As Izuku and Katsuki were about to battle, tension were high. Katsuki was hungry to fight Izuku. While Izuku seemed more composed and relaxed, then Midnight yelled begin. The fight had begun, and Bakugo charged with his firecracker explosions. Izuku powered up using 15% of One for All, and began dodging the blasts, left and right. Bakugo had started getting angry, close to unstable thinking mentality. As Izuku dodged continually, this frustrated Bakugo even more when he shouted out his signature move, Howitzer Impact. Izuku was slightly impressed until he turned up his power to 25%, rushed Katsuki before he could gain momentum. Once Izuku reached for Katsuki's face and slammed it into the floor, knocking him out. This was the moment that Katsuki realized the difference in power. Midnight. The winner of the match is Izuku Midoriya. The crowd roared in excitement. If this match was good, what would the next match hold in store for them? As Izuku walked toward Silver, he whispered to him, "See you at the finals." This caused Silver to chuckle. Midnight. May we get Silver and Todoroki up here? As both Silver and Todoroki stood on the battlefield, they waited for Midnight to commence the battle between the two. Battle begin. Todoroki began shooting wave after wave of ice, trying not to give Silver any breathing room when he noticed that his ice barrage was fading away as it was close to striking Silver. Many of the spectators were confused, but this was rudeness of the ceiling form as Todoroki knew none of his attacks were doing any damage. Silver. Is that all you've got? Allow me to show you the power in which you're missing out on. Fifth commandment blue crimson. The stadium erupted as Silver had fire emitting from his left and ice emitting from his right. Todoroki was shocked to see someone else with a fire and ice combination. While Todoroki was still in awe, he didn't notice that Silver had rushed him to begin his assault of fire and ice on Todoroki. As the barrage of blue crimson finished with an X that burned and froze Todoroki's chest, he fell to the floor. Silver. Get up. If this is your true power, then you don't deserve to be a hero. We are all breaking our backs trying to prove we can be the best generation of heroes, and your half-assed attempt is pissing me off. Use your power the way you want to be the hero you want to be. As Todoroki's memory began to flood with images of his mother, he remembered the same words being said to him. He ignited his flames. Silver could only smile brightly when he heard Todoroki speak, smiling while helping your opponent. You've gone mad. Thank you, Silver. Todoroki sent his flames at maximum power. Midnight was about to intervene when she noticed Silver's signal. Not as she had a feeling he planned something. Silver again activated Runasa and absorbed the fire. Once all the fire was absorbed, Todoroki looked around the arena. Silver was nowhere to be found until he felt a massive amount of pressure plus speed hit his abdominal area, causing him to slam into the wall, denting it. The crowd yelled with great force while stomping their feet at the exciting battle. It was almost like a mini earthquake occurred. Midnight. Now to conclude this sports festival, can I get Izuku Midoriya on this battlefield? Silver, would you like to take a 10-minute break before we begin? Silver. No, but I just need my water bottle. Izuku. Got it right here. As Izuku tossed Silver his water bottle, one sip and Silver was back at 100%, as if he never took damage. He tossed it to Izuku and said, drink some. I want to fight out at your fullest. Same result happens to Izuku. His damage was gone and looked as if he didn't fight before. Midnight. What was in that bottle, Silver? Silver. It's a medicine that was made by Recovery Girl with the help of my family's herbal knowledge. It's like having her quirk in a bottle without backlash. Once things were discussed with Recovery Girl, everything was in order and the fight was about to begin. Midnight. Any questions before we begin? Izuku. Can Silver and I go full power since it's only the two of us? Midnight. Wait, how much of your power were you using? Silver. 10 to 15%. Izuku. 15 to 25%. Everyone in the stadium erupted with murmurings as they discovered that the two stars of the event weren't going full power. Midnight. Okay, you may go all out. AN. Play for the last half of story. Midnight battle begin. As the final battle began, Izuku vs Silver, both contestants started off slowly throwing jabs and hooks like in an old boxing match. The attacks gradually go faster and faster. That's when Izuku charged a 5% smash. When the wind pressure almost knocked Silver out of the ring, he cried out Melfers, and a large amount of wind pressure that Silver launched out from Silver, cancelling out Izuku's smash. Silver changed into his form Sulfarian to try a flurry of strikes on Izuku. That was when Izuku activated full cowl to match the speed of his brother. Both of the combatants threw punches that landed on each other's faces. Everyone who witnessed this fight were amazed that these two were fighting at all might speed. While the fight got more intense, Izuku skyrocketed his power to 100%. Every smash thrown by Izuku was completely under control. His bones didn't shatter. Silver had powered up 2 commandment sacrifice and gravity core. Now that both combatants have powered up immensely, every punch thrown was enough to crack the ring below them. The amount of force used was enough to wake up those who were unconscious. In the infirmary, Itsuki woke up due to the rumble of the stadium caused by Silver and Izuku. When he saw the TV, he realized they held back and his power wasn't anywhere near their radar. Back to the fight. As the attacks of Izuku and Silver collided, the audience who attended were almost sent flying out of the stadium. That's when they stopped and looked at each other and knew it was time to end it. As the battlefield was almost gone, the two ran at each other and collided one last time at full power. Both Silver and Izuku slammed on opposite walls of the stadium. The stadium speechless. Never in the history of UA Sports Festival has there ever been a tie. The crowd roared with excitement for the last fight. It was something that wasn't seen before. They walked towards each other, they took a bow, and the crowd was ready to see the awards ceremony. As the awards ceremony began, All Might presented the medal to the top 3. All Might. To third place, Todoroki Shoto, keep working hard. Todoroki. Thank you, I will. All Might. To second place, Silver, you have improved yet again, please keep growing. Silver. I will. All Might. To first place and the winner of the sports festival, Izuku Midoriya. Continue to aim for the top. Izuku. I will. All Might. All Might. Now what do we say, people? Audience. Plus ultra. This concluded the sports festival. As Izuku and Silver left with their families, they were told to invite their friends to Fireblades to enjoy a party. Chapter 14, The Stain Arc, shocking revelations. Now that the sports festival was over, things could finally calm down for Izuku and Silver, but they were wrong. When they hopped on the train to get to school, they were instantly recognized. Many of the people on the train wanted pictures with the two strongest students from UA. When their stop was called, they excused themselves and made their way to school. Upon walking into class, everyone was talking about how they ran into people who were complimenting them on a job well done during the sports festival. When Aizawa walked into class, everyone was waiting for an announcement. Aizawa. Welcome back everyone. Now let me begin by saying I'm proud of all of you. Now for the announcement, your names shall be shown with the number of votes that hero agencies casted. These votes are from the agencies that will train you for your internships. As the projection was shown on the board, Katsuki and Todoroki placed first and second. Many were confused. Momo raised her hand. Momo. Mr. Aizawa, why is it that nobody voted for Izuku nor Silver? Katsuki had to open his mouth to say something stupid. Katsuki. It's because they saw greatness in me. Aizawa, no Katsuki, it's because, well, it's better if I show you. As Aizawa opened another slide with a video loaded. When Aizawa played the video. Hero Association. Hello Izuku Midoriya and Silver Ramirez, we of the Hero Association have received a petition from multiple hero agencies to allow you to receive your hero licenses, so we'll give you a test. Your mission is to capture and defeat Stain. If you do, your hero licenses will be granted to you without having to take the provisional exam. When the video ended, Katsuki was foaming at the mouth to see that Izuku and Silver were leaps away from him, increasing the gap. Silver. Mr. Aizawa, if we're taking on Stain, I need my hero suit. It got crashed during USJ. Aizawa. Not to worry kid, your suit is finished. Go to the support department and pick it up. Before you go today, we will pick hero names. And all goes as canon. As Midnight heard Izuku's hero name Deku, she remembered Silver had yet to present. Midnight. Silver, whenever you're ready. As Silver walked up to the front to present his name. Silver. I will be the hero who will bear the pain to save those in need, call me Guardian. As the class applauded Silver for making the bold statement, classes were over and Izuku walked with Silver to pick up his hero suit. Silver. You know, I hope they don't change my original design for my suit. Izuku. They might change something. As both Izuku and Silver had made it to the hall where the support course was, the door was blown off the hinges. This surprised them both as they rushed to see a girl with pink dreads face down on the ground. Our loader. Hatsum, how many times do I have to tell you not to set off explosions in the workshop? One more and your privileges are gone. May. Failure is the key to success. Who are you guys? As both Izuku and Silver are looking at the busted door with someone under it trying to put it back into place. Silver. Silver, I came to pick up my hero suit. May. Oh, I just finished it, please come and try it on to see if it fits. Silver did as May had requested, and to Silver's surprise the armor was still blue, but the gold was gone and replaced with silver. Silver. May, it fits great. I've noticed that you made slight changes. May. Yes, I've changed the gold to silver, and as for the plated legs, I made sure to put the plating inside the pants lining so you are more flexible and aren't making a lot of noise. Silver. This is great, thank you, I really appreciate the work you've put into the upgrades. May. Anytime now, if you excuse me, I must get back to work on my babies. Izuku. Hatsum-sen, what's that? As Izuku pointed to a mysterious looking device that sat upon a table. May. Ah, that is my dimensional viewer, just leave a sample of your DNA like hair, it will scan it, and from there it allows me to see different dimensions of the person's life. Silver. Amazing, if possible could we leave some hair samples with you? I'd like to know what kind of life I live in other dimensions. Can this machine record them? May. If you'd like to leave a sample, then cut a small chunk of hair and leave it in a Ziploc bag. As for your other question, yes, this machine can record the other dimensions it finds. As both Izuku and Silver left small chunks of their hair in individual Ziploc bags for May's machine to analyze, they left to enjoy their weekend before having to head out for hero duty. 40 minutes after Silver and Izuku left, May decided to analyze the DNA samples left by them. She started with Silver, and what she saw, she was disgusted. In every dimension that Silver was found in, he was brutally tortured along with his family. Nobody dared to help once all these dimensions were recorded. She moved on to Izuku. Izuku, on the other hand, had many different quirks through the various dimensions. One quirk was lightning, but it came at the cost of being kidnapped and tortured. Second was him with a sludge-like quirk, but could shoot webs and stick to walls like a spider. Third, he was a quirkless hero that achieved his dream, but the thing that disturbed her was the fact that in all the dimensions except the quirkless and spider, he was being killed. The only remaining dimensions were of him that was an angel with black and white wings, the other was of him like a blind swordsman. May was now curious to see what villain would want Izuku dead, but she grabbed all the recordings and decided to inspect them closer at home until she saw a vivid image of the culprit, who happened to be the angry one, a sandy blonde firecracker. May's thoughts. This is some serious business. I believe that something major is about to change in the next few months to come. I have to build my latest baby. Chapter 15 The Hunt for Stain. It was now the day of the internship. Silver and Izuku noticed Iida acting strange and more slightly aggressive. The duo decided to see what was wrong with the class rep. Silver. Hey Iida, you okay? Iida. Yes, I'm absolutely fine. Why do you ask? Izuku. Look Iida, we know what happened to your brother, but know this, we've been tasked with taking down the hero killer. Iida was in shock but knew he could trust both Izuku and Silver. As they departed for Hosu City, both Izuku and Silver understood why Iida chose Pro-Hero Manual. It was because he wanted to try and take revenge for his brother. While they were still together before Iida stopped, Silver spoke. Silver. Iida, if you try and take revenge against Stain, I'll have to arrest you. Since Izuku and I have our licenses, we have that authority. Iida nodded in agreement. When the three went separate ways, Izuku and Silver had made their way to a temporary apartment that would serve as their headquarters. Once there, the two suited up and went out on patrol. A few crimes were stopped. This was just the beginning as they cleaned up the streets littered with crime. After the first day of being pros, there wasn't much activity, so they called it a night. Second day, there was more basic crimes like convenience store robberies and muggings. Izuku and Silver made sure to pay attention to those, since heroes want to take on assignments that get them noticed. Little did Izuku and Silver know they were being watched. Time skip. It was their second to last day. Hosu City crime rates fell thanks to the help of Izuku and Silver, but they still haven't had their encounter with Stain yet. The two were patiently waiting for Stain to make an appearance. As the two began their night portal, everything was quiet until a portal opened up and appeared a group of Nomu. As they jumped into action, Silver fought off the Nomu to buy Izuku time while he escorted the civilians to a safer area. As Silver fought off, the Nomu sidekicks who were in the area joined in and helped Silver push the Nomu back. Luckily these were weaker than the one at USJ. When Izuku regrouped with Silver, the sidekicks had told the two that they could handle the area. When leaving to scout the area out, a strange glimmer caught the attention of Silver. Silver. Izuku, follow me, I see something in the alley. As the two rushed into the alley, they saw Pro-Hero Native laying on the ground with a fresh wound. He was still conscious. You two get out of here before it's too late. Both Izuku and Silver were confused why he didn't want any help until a slow clapping was heard. They looked around looking for the origin of the clapping until lifting their heads, and they saw Stain sitting on top of the wall where Native had his back against. Izuku, Silver. Stain. Stain. You boys should leave before it gets messy. Izuku. We're not just boys, we're heroes. Silver. That's right, and as heroes it's our job to stick our noses in matters that don't concern us. Stain. Ah yes, I've been following your achievements, stopping low-level criminals and restoring a sense of security to Hosu. I deem you both worthy to carry the title of hero, but before we fight, what do you think about my ideals? Silver. I respect your ideals to expose false heroes, but the way you're going about it is wrong. Stain. How do you figure? Silver. You should have showed the world what a true hero was by going the extra mile and doing the things the so-called fake heroes ignored. In reality, I believe that you've lost sight on your ideals. Stain had dropped everything and remembered his vow to do what heroes ignore, to stand up for the weak, quirkless and those forgotten. Stain. I'd like to turn myself in. I truly believe that, like All Might, you're the last of the true heroes. Stain surrendered without a fight until a flying Nomu swooped down and tried to take Izuku before Silver could react. Stain broke the handcuffs and said. Stain. This young man is a true hero and no evil shall befall him. Upon returning, he was in position to get handcuffed again. The sidekicks who assisted during the Nomu attack had controlled the situation but arrived too late to assets as they saw Stain was arrested. The situation was handled and everything was starting to calm down for now. As the internships came to a close, both Izuku and Silver had boarded a train that led back to UA. When they arrived, they were greeted by the class all expected Bakugo, who was still upset that he spent time at an agency that didn't benefit him. Izuku and Silver received 2 notes from the Hero Association, which granted them their licenses for capturing Stain. Now that everyone was reunited at the train station, Izawa had an important announcement. Izawa. Alright everybody, now that you're back, I'm letting you all know now that midterms are coming up, so be prepared. Chapter 16 Midterms. Now that the internships were over, school was about to get tougher for everyone. Because of midterm exams. It was now Monday. Classes resumed. The remaining members of WANA had to participate in a rescue race. Izuku and Silver were exempt due to being assigned to work as pros. Once everyone had successfully showed they improved, another major announcement was made by Izawa. Izawa. Alright students, now that you've all returned from the internships, we have more pressing matters to attend to. Everyone was about to panic as they began to assume the worst, but only 4 people didn't start thinking worst case scenario. Izawa. Midterms are coming up, so study up for the written portion. That's all for today, you'll have a week to study. A small portion of the students had complained about midterms since they weren't prepared for it. Izuku, Silver, Momo and Ichako weren't sweating it since the group always kept each other sharp by constantly quizzing one another. Many of the students who felt like they needed tutoring begged Momo for help, then she agreed to help them. Izuku and Silver volunteered to also tutor them in order to lighten the load on Momo. Time skip. The week had gone by. Many students from WANA who were having trouble understanding the material that the test would cover no longer stressed about it due to receiving tutoring from Momo, Silver, Izuku and Ichako. When they walked into class that fateful Monday morning, they waited like usual for Izawa, expecting him to come in with his sleeping bag. Many of the students were shocked to see that Izawa walked in normally with a stack of papers under his arm. Izawa. Alright everyone, take out a pencil and shut up when I give you the test on. Flip it till everyone gets one. You have 1 hour to complete the written portion of the exam. Izawa took out a remote and clicked it, having all the hero costumes. Many were confused at this, then he explained his reason behind it. Izawa. Once you completed the test, take your hero suit and wait out in front for everyone else. You may begin now. The moment everyone flipped their tests, Izawa saw a look of confidence appear on all their faces, including those who struggled to keep their grades afloat. After 40 minutes, each student left their test on Izawa's desk and grabbed their hero suits. After they left, Izawa took the liberty to check and grade all tests with the help of a machine in the teacher's office. It surprised him that every student landed a passing score. All students were changed and ready and waiting at the field gamma. The students waited and noticed that their teachers were there at the training field. As Izawa approached the students, many were curious on what was about to happen. Izawa. In the past we used robots for these midterm exams, but now since we've had these incidents we'll change up the exam. Today you'll be fighting the teachers. AN. All teams canon except Izuku. Itsuki was put in a team with Kirishima and Sato, then everyone noticed that both Silver and Izuku had nobody to fight. Nezu. For Izuku and Silver we have a special challenge. Multiple heroes made their way from behind the teachers. They were none other than Endeavor, Best Jeanist, Kamui Woods, Gang Orca, Gran Torino, Almite. Izuku and Silver, since you both are on par with pro heroes for your test, you'll have to fight all the teachers including the heroes who are here to assist in the exam. Everyone paled at the thought of fighting all teachers and pros who were called to assist. The tests finally began and many of Class 1 had passed the exams, except for the team of Kirishima, Sato and Bakugo. The reason Team Kirishima had failed was because Bakugo abandoned his team to fight Cementus alone, but he failed miserably as Cementus made a giant wall preventing Katsuki from moving forward. The next match was something everyone looked forward to: Izuku and Silver vs all teacher who participated in the exam and some of the top pros. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.